Fire and wind come from the sky, from the gods of the sky. But Crom is your god. Crom, and he lives in the earth. Once giants lived in the earth, Bullwinkle and Drupert. And in the darkness of chaos, they fooled Crom. And they took from him the enigma of steel. Crom was angered, and the earth shook. Fire and wind struck down these giants, and they threw their bodies into the waters. But in their rage, the gods forgot the secret of steel and left it on the battlefield. We who found it are just men. Not gods, not giants, just men. The secret of steel has always carried with it a mystery. You must learn its riddle, Bullwinkle and Drewbag. You must learn its discipline. For no one in this world can you trust. Not men, not women, not beasts. This you can trust.
That was like a little lullaby to you, Bullwinkle.
To me.
Welcome to Pandora's box, everybody. I'm your host as always,
The penny whistle.
To the right of me we have the Golden Nugget,
Marmaduke Johnson.
Marmaduke Johnson.
I'm back.
To the left of me we have the man with the Auburn Frau, Mr. Drupert Armstrongio.
Frau Linschu.
That track that played us in today was Without Willow's latest single, Nightingale.
Lovely.
Nightingale.
Our friends from County Donegal.
County Donegal!
So thanks for that, Without Willow. And go check out their stuff on YouTube and Spotify and everything like that. Beautiful. And go buy their stuff. Yeah, really nice people as well. So nice folky music. So go check that out if you like that sort of thing.
If you dare.
Look at that. If you dare. Dun dun dun. As usual today we have a plethora of interesting facts, topics, subjects, and the like subgenres for everyone. You know, subgenres, sometimes a bit of romance, sometimes a bit of horror.
Maybe some questions, some hypothetical questions.
Comedy,
perhaps?
thrillers,
questions.
action.
Maybe some rhetorical questions.
Oh, maybe.
Bit of rom-com.
It's like Friends or something. Because I always do it at the end of the shows and think that I'm going to reel off loads, and then I always end up reeling only a couple. I think I'm going to flip the script.
Oh, you're going to start with it?
I'm going to start with
nice.
Quickfire facts, because I've saved so many over like the last sort of like month or two, and like
I love them as well.
Yeah, I think they're really fun.
It's just imagine you sitting on your chair at home, just prowling, compiling the best facts ever known
just
to man.
giggling at each of the ball facts.
I'm
putting that one in.
All the ball bag facts. They're the best facts. Anything to do with balls, they're the best ones. You know. You never know, there might be some ball bag facts today. We'll see.
I hope there's one.
I hope there's at least one. All right, let's start it off. Did you know that when our inner voice, our inner monologue, as it's sometimes known, speaks in our head, it is accompanied by subtle muscle movements in our larynx?
Where's your larynx and your throat?
Yeah, as if you're talking. You're talking to yourself. Like your throat almost like moves a little bit like it's talking as well. That's just
like talking inside your brain.
I think my inner monologue's got like weaker and weaker. Like I don't normally hear it as like a clear voice anymore.
No,
not like a blah 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Not ever since those incidents with the ducks and the fish.
Yeah.
That's when his inner monologue was at its strongest.
Yeah.
But luckily the beast has been conquered.
Tamed.
Yeah, the beast has been tamed and he's gone back in his cage. Yeah.
Which wolf do you feed?
This is another, this is another mental fact, which almost seems like quite cool, and almost I like the fact that it's almost like your skin cells are almost like sacrificing themselves for the greater good. Did you know that when you get sunburned, your skin cells don't get damaged and die, right? What really happens is that the DNA of the skin cells are damaged by the sun, so your skin cells are aware of this and actively commit suicide to prevent themselves from turning into cancer because they know that would then kill the entire organism.
Whoa.
This is a process called UVB-induced apoptosis. Apoptosis. Isn't that
So
mental?
they're looking out for us after all.
Your skin cells are almost like a little bit aware, and they commit suicide rather than get filled with so much radiation that you would get cancer.
Yeah, they know it would happen if you.
Yeah, because obviously
they didn't do that.
One of the reasons why you're advised, aren't you, not to use suntan beds and not to spend too much time in the sun is because you can get skin cancer.
Suntan beds are like meant to be really bad, aren't they?
Oh man, literally just sat in a bed with just like UV lights just blasting you full of radiation.
So do you get like cancer from the sun if you just got like non-suicidal skin cells? They just I'm not done. I'm not going down like this.
Well, I've heard of a couple of people that like they can't be in the sun because they would like.
I've heard of that.
So maybe that is that condition. Maybe they've got a condition where their skin cells,
hold it out.
Their skin cells are just like, nah, we ain't
for the right.
They're like almost like selfish.
Yeah,
they're like, nah,
no, I'm
not going to commit suicide for you, fool.
Yeah,
you shouldn't have brought me out here in the sun.
Yeah, now you're going to get it.
You're the one that decided to go in a suntan bed. Yeah, maybe. In 1991, Dr. J. Andrew Armour discovered that the heart has its own little brain and named it the intrinsic cardiac nervous system. This heart brain is composed of approximately 40,000 neurons that are very similar to the neurons in our brain. This is leading to more thoughts that, whereas previously we thought that the brain solely was like the hub of all like sort of neural intelligence in our body, we now think that it's actually a bit more complicated than that, and science hasn't quite come to terms with it yet. What I mean by that is like we don't have a clear definitive idea yet of what's going on, but we also find out that there's neurons in our digestive tract.
Yeah,
things
that's
like
literally what I was gonna say, because I've heard all about it in the digestive tract, in your belly and everything, you know.
Really gives meaning to the term thinking with your head or with your heart.
Yeah, and although obviously they weren't necessarily right, I believe it was in the time of the Romans. This is just off the top of my head, so don't chastise me too much if I'm wrong. I believe it was in the time of the Romans. They believed that the heart was responsible for our thoughts, not our brains. Now, obviously, they weren't right in that regard, but at least they weren't necessarily wrong either. Do you know what I mean? They weren't right or wrong.
I think it's all linked. Like everything in your body is so intrinsically linked together. You can't just compartmentalize it, like from what we were saying earlier, like for different things, because it's all related. Like, you know, you pinch your toe and you feel it in your balls. You know, like
the common toe ball connection. Yeah.
Is that actually a thing?
With Drew it is. With Drew it is. So if anybody ever meets Drew, tickle his toes and then look at and then
coital.
Tickle his toes.
You're on the verge. You squeeze that big toe. Feels good, baby.
Yeah. I have actually heard that.
It is. What is the thing?
Do you know what? Yeah, no, that's true. Apparently, right? Yeah. If sorry to go a little bit X-rated on everybody. It's only like
so early on.
It's only like just gone 7. But apparently, let me word this in a way that is appropriate. If you are making sweet love and your partner is enjoying themselves to such an extent that they might reach a moment climactic bliss, that apparently if you squeeze their big toe
and it's the other way around
as they're about to reach climax, then they will have an enhanced experience.
What?
It's like
and
a weird
it's the other
thing.
way around as well. So it's for a man as well.
That's crazy. I never knew that. I never knew that they were so like linked.
Yeah, but then you think of all like Chinese medicine in that. It's all about what's it called, reflexology, and with your feet and your hands, like that every part is linked to a different part of your body, and you can like squeeze a certain pressure point, and it's
a bit linked to this. Is like, did you know that if you rub garlic on the soles of your feet, about an hour later, you'll taste garlic in your mouth? Did you know that?
All intrinsically linked. Our body is one thing.
I remember hearing a rumor that if you put your balls in something, then you can taste it after a while. I don't know if that's the same thing. I don't know if that's true.
I love it. That's like the schoolboy version, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's like, mate, put your balls in some 7-Up. You'll taste 7-Up. Yeah. Put your balls in a cup of 7-Up.
I don't know
why 7-Up was the first thing that came to my head. Never even drink it. Anyway, next fact. Did you know that pain is the only sensation a tooth can experience? Which is quite interesting because usually most things that can experience sensations can experience sort of like a myriad of sensations.
Joy.
Yeah, imagine your tooth is like, yay! When you eat or drink something too hot or too cold, or a dentist operates on your teeth, you will only experience pain because that is the only thing the nerves around your teeth understand.
And it is acute pain.
Or acute. Yeah, not cute. Acute.
Acute.
Yes, the opposite acute. Yeah, not very nice, is it? Not
horrible.
very nice at all.
One of the worst pains ever, actually, I think, that I've experienced.
It's like chronic pain, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's people that have got like problems like that when they can always feel it. It's like something
unbearable.
you can never get over.
Like when it's happening, you're just like, I literally cannot stand this. This is ruining everything about my life.
Yeah,
It's just ruining everything about my life. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's like
you can't do anything.
There are some pains that are worse than others, and
Yeah.
and it's not necessarily to do with like how bad it is on your body. Like
the annoyance of it.
Like if you got like punched really hard, don't get me wrong, it's like not very nice. But to me, that's not as bad a pain as being
Save it
like
quite quickly.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like even if it leaves a big bruise, it's like that's nowhere near as like if you think about like a really nasty pinch. Or like
Yes.
or like tooth
Yes.
pain, or like being burnt. Like being burnt's horrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you get
yeah.
burnt, it's like a horrible pain.
yeah,
isn't it?
man.
But like toothache almost feels like almost like throbs with your heartbeat or something. You get it in your nerve and like and you can feel it like throbbing, and it's just like, oh nah.
I think you are right. The easiest to deal with is physical pain. Like you were saying, getting punched or
Like a
like
thump.
falling
thump.
over.
Yeah,
Like, that's okay.
Yeah. Whereas like almost like something like a tooth. Like imagine if someone just like drilled into your nerve, and like that would send shockwaves through your entire being.
It's that stinging, isn't it?
Like
It's
there's
stinging.
I
Yeah.
don't care how much mental fortitude you have, how much self-control, and how much pain tolerance you have. Like that's
You'll go on screen.
you can't just be like
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I always find as well, when I've had some like really bad toothaches, it almost like goes into your brain. Like that, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It'll throb up
Yes.
through your head, and then you'll have a headache as well as a toothache because it's all like linked. Oh man.
I do love almost like pushing your
Hashtag BDSM.
Your ability, hashtag BDSM. your ability to tolerate pain, though.
Yeah.
I've always been quite interested in it. I think that's one of the reasons, like, when we were in school, didn't we? We would often sort of play, like... Do you remember, if everyone remembers that, show Dirty Sanchez?
Yeah.
Not necessarily play fight, we used to do that as well, but do you remember we'd almost, like, do, like, Dirty Sanchez type stuff?
Yeah.
You know, you like...
Jackassy.
It's just stupid, but yeah, like, you just put, like, a band, like a rubber band over your head and, like, pull it and let go of it. And just, like, stupid stuff like that. Or, like, see how much you can tolerate, like, a Chinese burn from like your friend.
Did you ever like get
Things like
pins as well and almost like put them through your skin?
No, I never did that. No,
I did that quite a few times, like through, like literally, and it wouldn't even like hurt that much. You could literally like put it through your skin and then like.
Oh,
out
I
the
see
other
what you
side.
mean. Yes,
You know what I mean?
I have done that.
Let's just do a little experiment right here a minute, right? I'll let you both have a go, right, on each hand, just because I want to see if I can control it, right? Give me as bad a Chinese burn as you can, and I'll see if I can just not rip through it.
Oh no!
Go on.
Why do men live less than women?
This is it, right? This is it right now.
What
Wait.
is a Chinese burn? It's like this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, look at that.
Do you want to try?
I'll have a go.
I could have probably gone a bit harder, but
Mate, you can go as hard as you want.
I don't.
I'm giving you the. I don't think you can. Try it harder. Go on. Go on.
That done to me.
Right. So this is the experiment. Bullwinkle and.
to me as well.
No. I'll do it to you.
Yeah, that's the trick.
No. Go
Get
on
him
as
in
hard
it.
as you can. Go on as hard as you can.
Oh,
Nah,
I've got
no.
sweaty hands. That's all.
No, yeah. No, I thought I could handle that. I thought I could handle that.
Was it quite neat? Well, that was alright.
It wasn't nice.
Yeah, but
It wasn't
that
nice.
bad.
No, it didn't break me.
Now let's all get pins and stick them in our hands.
Right. Well, what are we gonna do next?
Just smash that little guitar over my head.
You know?
Microphone.
I'm the Jaxie. Can you just stare into the camera
Jesus.
while another one inserts a microphone into your rectum?
Jesus.
Yeah, we used to do loads of stuff though, didn't we? Like, I know.
Yeah,
I
not
remember,
like that.
No, not like rectum. But I remember one that was really good, and I remember this was one that was quite brutal. I remember me and Jake Harden were the best at it. Was putting clothes pegs on your nipples. You know, like really hard, like, you know, like ones that are like really, you know, they're fresh. Then it's not like the metal is gone on them.
Yeah.
You know, when they're like fresh, and putting them on your nips, like right on the end of your nipples. And then it's like, that would leave a couple of bruises, but like seeing how long you can do that and things like that. Bit weird, really.
It's a real sensitive part of your body, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my nips are so sensitive.
Oh man, my nips. That's like the things that we're getting today is so funny. It's like Drew and his toes, Drew's toe ball connection,
And nip.
Oh yeah, and now his nipple sensitivity.
Yeah.
Sharing is caring, as they say.
Oh my.
Sharing is caring. The feeling of butterflies in your The feeling of butterflies in your stomach is caused by a reduction of blood flow to the stomach due to your body's fight or flight response. When the human body releases adrenaline, it results in the release of huge amounts of glucose from the liver. It also pulls blood away from your gut and into your arms and legs, which is what causes the feeling.
I can't remember the last time I had butterflies in my stomach. It must have been quite a while ago now.
Do you know I get it before like I'm ever going to go out and drink? Just stuff like that. Like if I'm going to go out and drink or whatever, or go out on a night out, then I'll always like get butterflies in my stomach.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh my god. I've actually already. It's so funny that we talked about this, and I couldn't. I didn't remember that I found this one. Testicle taste receptors.
Yay!
That's right.
Here's the balls. The balls are back.
Most people assume that there are only taste receptors in your mouth, namely your tongue. But did you know that for whatever reason, there are also taste receptors in your stomach, namely intestines, in your pancreas, lungs, and most observed through nature, your anus and your testicles.
So I was right.
Yeah. So if you dipped your or rubbed your balls in some sort of like,
We're going to have to do an experiment now.
Peanut butter.
Go and get some soy sauce.
We'll get a takeaway, but rather than eat it, we'll just rub our balls away. And just be like, this is so good. It's weird that like you have them on your anus.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? One last flavour before you drop it off at the pool. One last taste. I'm so sorry, everyone. I feel like we've been so vulgar and
I know
and
it's
just
something
bad today already.
as well, isn't it? Like, what do they call? Like you can get to make you go to the toilet and things
Laxatives.
like that.
Oh,
Yeah, but they do them in your butt because, or like
What, suppositories?
Yeah, or like or like medicine and stuff. Like your butt absorbs it real.
But they put it in your butt. Yeah, it's like that, but they put it in your butt.
That's it. Like, so maybe it's the taste as well. Like,
I'm pretty sure I heard once of a guy that tried to smuggle cocaine by putting a baggie of cocaine up his rectum, but
Did it split?
he accidentally
that can
split,
kill you.
Oh,
and then he went
God.
like crazy because the
Yeah.
body absorbed the cocaine rather than it obviously just storing
one
it.
of the wildest trip reports ever from a DMT experience as well, when they did a suppository of DMT up their bum. And they said it was like endless, like
Really?
for hours. Yeah.
I remember hearing a story as well. This is this isn't anal related, luckily, but but there was once a black bear. I think it was a black bear. It was definitely a bear. It was either a black bear or a brown bear, but I think it was a black bear off the top of my head, that found something like 4 kilos worth of cocaine. In like that was like hidden in a forest. I believe it was in the United States. And he just ate it all, and apparently he just went on this mad rampage for about an hour and then just died of a savage heart attack. But like for that hour, that bear was like a Super Saiyan bear.
Yeah.
It was like the most crazy
Was
bear.
it just going like everywhere, just killing things and then eating it?
Yeah, it was just going on a mad bear rampage and was just just effing everything up and just killing and just destroying, and then just like eventually it was and just died.
I want to say they made like a model of it somewhere, like where it did this whole thing.
How quickly it like gets into your system as well. Like the bear must have been eating it and knowing that it was like
Powering up.
that it was powering, and then just eating it more. Do you know what I mean? Like it must have just carried on and carried on and carried on, and then just ate it all and just been like.
It's like that scene, when Anakin chops off Mace Windu's hand, and then Darth Sidious starts doing his Force light, and he's like, pure power, or whatever he says. You know that bit? What is it exactly he says? He's something like pure and unbridled power.
Something like that.
It's like just like almost you can tell he's just almost like it's like
Getting off on it.
yeah, it's like his crack.
Yeah.
It's just the power. Did you know?
Essence.
The essence. Did you know that the speed of the airflow in your trachea when you cough is a roundabout. There you go. Nice little demonstration there. Is around about 85% the speed of sound. That is why it's so important to cover your mouth when you cough and things like that.
Because you break the speed of sound barrier and kill someone.
That's quite mad. Yeah,
like that thing, like that guy when he speaks in on
Black Bolt.
Yeah, Black Bolt.
Black Bolt of the Inhumans. Yeah, that's mad though, and that's so fast. 85%.
What was the real cool story that this reminds me of? I think it was another fact you said about when you speak, like the power of it can go to space.
Oh, that was
vocal cords.
Oh, that was like when you speak, it was like
a ripple in time. And
space.
you
can affect like what was it, like the neurons in like a star at the edge of the galaxy or something like that. It was something like that, wasn't it? It was something like that. Yeah. The inside of this human small intestine has the same surface area as a tennis court. That's quite a good one, isn't it? Very big. The human stomach has more nerve endings than your spinal cord, giving a bit more meaning to the saying, gut feeling. That's a good one, isn't it? Humans can regenerate some of their organs through a process called compensatory hypertrophy. When part of the liver is removed or destroyed, the remaining portion grows to the original size and allows the liver to function as it did before. Kidneys and lungs can also similarly compensate.
Whoa, like a lizard's leg or something.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah.
Regenerative.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. What else have we got? Post-workout muscles aren't sore because of lactic acid buildup. This is a myth perpetuated by a doctor who experimented on a severed frog. Lactic acid is actually a fuel made from glucose and burned by the muscles to maintain energy. Soreness, which is typically experienced post-workout, is actually from micro tears in the muscle and the resulting inflammation. So whenever you hear people like lactic acid buildup, bro, it's just rubbish, really.
It's those tears.
A person with damage to the right brain hemisphere can develop a joke addiction, a compulsive need to constantly make jokes. I think I might have that a bit sometimes.
Whoa.
You know, almost like inappropriately. Just to the point where it's just annoying for everyone.
Yeah. I guess that's a bit like Joker, where he's got that whole disorder where he can't stop laughing.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Yeah.
I wonder what happens with the left brain. If is there something like that as well? Yes.
What is it? Isn't it like the right side of the brain's emotion and like feeling?
I think it's like logic,
and the left one's like maths.
I thought the right one was logic.
Like
no, I think it's the left one is because it's the so like you're right and left-handed. Yeah. I made, maybe it's not right, but I made the relation to that because I'm like very right-handed, and I remember reading that the left hand was the logic, the left side of the brain is the logic, so that's controlling the right side of your body. Because they also control the opposite sides of your body, which is quite weird as well.
What?
Have you ever heard of that? Like, so the left part of the brain is controlling the right side of your body, and the right part
I
of the
thought there would just be like a section that controls like your movement and stuff.
I swear I read that, and it was like, and I was like, that's why I'm so like right-handed, because the logical part is like where you're doing things, and you're just like, and that's why I got to control my right hand, but the left side is a bit more floppy in that, and it's creativity and everything from the right side of your brain.
Yeah. See, I thought it was the right side of the brain that was logic and the left side was creativity, but I might be wrong. I certainly wouldn't bet money on it.
Are you searching it up?
Yeah. So right brain is creativity.
Oh, nice.
Left brain is logic, analysis, ideas, facts, math, training. Right side, creativity, intuition, arts, creation, feeling, imagination.
I reckon I'm like sort of about 50-50 with stuff like that.
I think I'm more right side. Because I find like organisation is very. I can do it, but like I have to really try.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably more right side.
I like logic. But I'm not the most organised person, and I'm very like creative. I like getting lost in a little world of my own in my head and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't, I like to disappear, and I love like literature and stuff. I love getting lost in literature and things like that. And
get that picture up a second now, because that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
like that. Like you see the depiction of it, like the order.
Very
interesting.
Cool.
Did you know that about 8 to 16% of humans are missing what's known as the palmaris longus muscle, which was a muscle that we all used to have that was used for climbing. So the fact that 8 to 16% of humans are missing it now shows that we're starting to evolve away from the need. From
I wonder if any of us are missing it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I know I can do like chin-ups and stuff like that, and I imagine that's like pretty similar to climbing. And
Right.
I can do
Maybe
chin-ups
you could
and dips.
develop it more if you do more stuff like that, like chin-ups. And
I wouldn't be at all surprised if it makes it more like less likely that say like my offspring would have this because of the fact that I do like lots of like pulling and pushing. Do you know what I mean? Because your body doesn't really know what it's doing. Do you know what I mean? Like my body doesn't know the difference between climbing and doing a pull-up. It just knows the muscle activation
you need to use for that.
Yes. So I wouldn't be surprised if that maybe like preserves the gene in my DNA that would make sure, you know what I mean? That would mean that like my kids sway would have it. Whereas if you had like a family that, you know, say like your family for like generations were all just worked at an office, just pencil pushers and just didn't do any exercise, I could imagine it's all going to be those people that are going to lose that ability first, didn't they?
I remember reading somewhere that eventually we won't have toes.
We won't have toes.
Apparently they're not actually like needed for what we do now.
They're pretty needed for balance and
That's
stuff.
what I thought. And it doesn't it go in,
and also
line up
when
with
you do
hearing
like
and stuff?
I don't know.
Like if you lose your hearing,
you
then
get
you like
bigger toes.
your balance is off as well. And I think
okay.
it's all kind of linked. But going back to saying that everything's kind of linked in your body.
Yeah. I also think it's weird that we have tailbones.
Yeah.
Like from when we,
Coccyx.
from when
Is
we
that
had
actually from a
tail.
tail?
It's like
it's
just got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. But some people have elongated tailbones and they can wag their tail.
It's quite common. It's quite common to it's a rare little condition. Yeah, so it's quite common. I've done it myself. It's quite common to like break your it's called coccyx. Your tailbone.
I broke my coccyx when I was younger.
Yeah, I was like running down the stairs and then I slipped and then I cracked my ass essentially on like the edge of like the step really hard. I broke my tailbone.
Did you have to sit on one of those like cushions?
I can't remember. I don't think so. I can't remember. But I remember it was like really savage, like for like a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I was on a BMX and I did a jump, and I landed rather on the seat on the middle of the frame on my coccyx bone full fast.
You're lucky it wasn't your balls though.
Yeah.
Getting back to balls.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
And I had to just lie down like on my side for like a month.
That's what I was going to say. I remember like lying on my side. I can't remember having one of those little inflatables.
Right.
This is another cool fact. Did you know that human ears can't tell where low frequencies come from? Usually, your ear can identify. Yeah, your ears can usually identify roughly where a sound is coming from, but with low frequencies, they can't. This is why subwoofers can be hidden in home theatres and in the trunks of cars, and it doesn't really matter where they are as long as they are close to you, emitting that
That's
frequency.
cool.
It's cool little fact, and it makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah,
but you just wouldn't think about it normally, would you?
Like if you were to hear a really high pitched whistle, it's funny that some people. That's another thing. Some people can't hear those like high frequencies.
Yeah.
I remember my friend had a lighter, and anytime he would put it up, it was like this electromagnetic lighter sort of thing. And anytime he'd put it on, like all our group would be like, I could never hear it. Not once.
Really?
Not even hear like at all.
It's like dog whistles though, isn't it? It's like you can't hear a dog whistle, but a dog's like.
Yeah. Right. Have you seen in like not W.H. Smith and like Boots and stuff as well, or Specsavers or something? I remember going in and you can actually do the test where you test your hearing and it'll play you sounds and frequency ranges, and you say when you click when you can hear them and when you can't, and it'll tell you like what bits of your ears are damaged and stuff.
Whoa.
And
I reckon mine are real bad.
My lefty
I know Josh's are as well.
Yeah.
Like Josh's
and Josh's dad is really bad. And
I know Jake's is
Jake's is the worst.
Yeah,
that's because Josh was literally telling us about it the other day. He definitely told me before, but you obviously refreshed my memory. Jake stuck his head in a bass bin, freaking bass bin, at a free party when he was younger, and like think about how loud that is.
Yeah,
and
that's
think
crazy.
about the trauma on your eardrums. Like Jesus. That's one of those savage things that you decide in a split moment, and then you suffer the ramifications of that for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like
one moment can change your life forever.
Yeah, that's just savage, man.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah,
be careful. Don't put your head in the bass bin.
Be careful, everyone.
This is a public
don't put your
service
head
announcement.
in any bin.
Do you know what that just reminded me of as well?
Go on.
The Call of the Void. Because surely there was a part of Jake's brain that knew that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, like that is not a good idea.
The intuition.
Because it's like
gut feeling.
Yeah, regardless of how much you like that song, like it's not going to make it better by sticking your head in.
Nah, you're just going to blow your ears out.
Yeah. And it's almost like if you think about it, it seems obvious. Like, and think about like it's not like you're at home and you're just like you've got like a reasonable volume. It's like deafeningly loud. It's literally a rave. There's like it's loud enough that like hundreds of people can hear it, and you can't talk to your mate next to you because it's that loud. You know,
I remember this program called like White Lines. Sorry, man.
No, go on.
And like,
I wonder what that's
and
about.
like, and it just reminds me a bit of that. And it's like all these people would go over to Ibiza and that, and it's like this story of someone who gets killed over it there and stuff. But one of the torture things, what they did is this guy who was a DJ, they strapped him to like 100 speakers, and then just like cranked it like unbelievably loud, and he's just there on speakers like and you see like blood coming out of his ears and stuff, and it's like that must be such a horrible way to like.
Brutal.
And he didn't die, but he just lost all his
exploded
hearing.
his eardrums.
And it's like,
Brutal, man.
I remember after one of our GCSE exams, we all went into the room. I think it actually might have been the last one,
Right.
or it was like the last English one or something. I remember it being English.
Right.
And we go into this room all together, and my friend comes up, and he was always chewing gum. My friend Ollie Smith, his name is, and he came up to me, and literally went right behind my ear and just like popped his mouth like. Right, but he did it so loud. I'd never experienced this before. I literally fell, like I fell on the floor.
Whoa!
And I was like, and I remember literally all I could hear was just like it was like someone had just shot a gun right next to my ear.
Your ears are really like people just think that they're just there for hearing, but it's really intricate in your equilibrium.
Yeah,
you know, like your balance, everything.
Fluid
like I was
in your
saying
ears,
earlier.
Because that vertigo, it happens when you've got an imbalance of fluid in your ears and stuff.
I tell you what, the worst I ever messed up my ears was. I love swimming in the sea. Usually, obviously, it doesn't bother too much. I mean, maybe in like a deep swimming pool, like you might get to the point right at the deep end where it might ever so slightly make your ears quite sensitive. But I think if you're used to swimming, you build up a tolerance to that. But I remember it was once I went on holiday and I went out deep enough that I was diving about 30 feet and I could feel that it was a lot of pressure in my ears at the time. Yeah. And I hadn't been swimming in like months, so it's not like I've been building up any tolerance to it. I was just immediately pushing it to the limit.
Yeah.
And my eardrums, like not like actually in the way that, you know, my eardrums burst, but you know when they like pop.
Something happened, yeah.
And I could tell that there was like a lot of fluid in them and there was just too much pressure really. And I just thought it was going to be one of those things that like after about like an hour of being out of the water, it'd probably get back to normal. And I kid you not, for about 2 weeks after I got back from holiday, I had the most savage earache and ringing in my ear, but it made me ill. It wasn't it wasn't the pain. Like as I said, my equilibrium was off. I felt a bit like dizzy and nauseous, and I could tell it was like my equilibrium had just been messed with. It was like
that's why you got to pop them yourself, isn't it? Like when you go down, you got to pop them by holding your nose and blowing.
I spent like 2 weeks doing that, man. Just waiting, just hoping that every time I did it, it would just get back to normal. And it was like almost like I'd pop temporarily, and then it would come back again. I'd be like, oh man, and eventually it just healed. But like I've always been like, from now on, I'm not going to push myself like that. Just like next time I go on holiday, because at the time you're having so much fun. I mean, it's so lovely. It's real nice, like water, like turquoise water. You're like, oh, nice. You're like trying to find all these cool fish and sit and like
touch the bottom,
find a nice seashell or something or something. Yeah, you want to touch the bottom. It just seems like something you want to do. Like it's like in human nature, in it. Like you can see the bottom, you want to touch the bottom. Seems stupid, but you just sort of want to do it. But yeah, I'm not going to do that.
My dad's like a real good diver. I think I spoke about this on the pod before. But I remember last time we went on holiday. We ended up at this place where there's this like mini Jesus, like almost like the Statue of Liberty, or not the statue. What's the one in Rio?
The
Christ the Redeemer.
Yes, that's
Christ the Redeemer.
Really
like
famous statue.
A sort of mini Christ the Redeemer under the water, and we went on this like boat trip, and then we were all snorkeling to go. It wasn't like actual diving, but just snorkeling.
Right.
And my mum's like snorkel came off as she jumped into the water.
Oh no!
And went all the way down, and my dad was like, "Oh, you know that's not good." So all the people that were on the boat were saying like, oh, you know, it's gone. We'll get you like a spare. We'll try and find you a spare. Like, there's no way we can get that. And my dad, without like any actual gear or anything, just went down all the way down to the bottom and just picked it off the surface and then moved on with it.
Was his ears all right?
Yeah, I think because he's done like hundreds of dives before, he like knows when to like sort of. I don't know if it's a tolerance, but I think it's more like you know when to pop them.
You got to be smart. You learn, like when to do it.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Oh yeah, because
climb
people
it
go
yourself.
down like so deep. They're and stuff.
Oh yeah, but as I said, you build a tolerance. So you start just swimming around 20 feet low, and then you next week you do that every day for a week, and then you do 30. And then you can, but it's like that's like everything in life, isn't it? It's like learning an instrument or learning how to ride a horse or learning how to ride a bike or like weight training. It's like if you just do something consistently, you will get better at it. But you can't go to the deep end.
Yeah.
You can't go into the gym and just like deadlift 600 pounds.
Yeah.
I feel like some skinny lad that's never lifted a weight before, It's just ridiculous, isn't it?
I think it's another thing. It's when you're coming to the surface too. You got to climb it yourself. If you go straight up,
on the way
then
back
you can
up
get
as
like
well.
oxygen in your blood.
Yeah,
and it can
I've
like
heard
fully
about
like
that.
explode your body when you come out.
Have you ever as well, with your ears? I remember when I was a kid, like someone screamed in my ear, like super,
Mate, why would
like
they do that?
I know. It's just like, I remember in primary school. The memory is. I haven't thought about it for years, but the memories like just come back, and like the pain. It's almost like when it's so loud in your ears that it almost like itches within your ear.
Oh yeah, I know
Have you ever had
exactly. Yeah,
that?
and you almost want to like stick your finger in your ear and
and
scratch
it like
it.
and it's like the hairs in your ear
I've
like
had that after
vibrating
gigs.
so much
Yeah.
that
I've
it
had that
almost
after gigs,
itches
yeah.
within there.
Yeah.
It's like so weird.
I've had that after gigs before, where you just want to almost like itch your ear. Weird, isn't it?
Because that's what that like ringing sound is, isn't it? If you hear a ringing sound, that's because like the hairs have died in your ear.
Tinnitus.
Yeah, weird. Did you know that there is a condition called black hairy tongue condition? It's a harmless syndrome that is often caused by an overgrowth of bacteria or by using too many astringents. The tongue turns black and the taste buds grow longer than normal, making the tongue appear to have long black hair on it. That'd be a bit gross, wouldn't it? Imagine if your girlfriend had that.
Bacteria out, innit?
Yeah, imagine if your
Brush your
girlfriend had
teeth.
that. Like long, look like
I did
long-
hear as well that like in your mouth, like the most bacteria that you have within your mouth is literally on your tongue. So like, you know,
that's why it's
you
really
don't
important.
Normally brush your tongue, but you should brush your tongue.
but once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't do it every day, do you? But every now and again, if I like stick my tongue out in the mirror like late at night and it's like, got a bit of a white
Yellowy,
coating, I'm
yeah.
like, oh mate, I've got to scrape that out. Do you know what I always do it with? I just do it with a teaspoon. I find it's the easiest, almost just like rake it
Meg
off.
has this like wire thing that is like the shape of a U, and you literally scrape your tongue with it. And
Yeah.
it's like an Ayurvedic, like
Yeah.
Indian kind of like thing. But
That's
that
cool.
seems pretty cool.
I always do it with just like a teaspoon and then just finish it off with like a toothbrush. Do you know what I mean? And then just like loads of mouthwash afterwards, just to like, just almost like dissolve whatever's
Brush your
covered.
tongues.
Yeah. But like, you don't want to be like sticking your tongue out and it's like coated in like white film. You know, it's almost like, you know, like the bits on like a banana.
Yeah.
So you don't want to like start looking at that.
It's just bacteria and stuff.
Yeah,
remnants of food.
Yeah, that's it. And also, it's really bad because it's one of the worst things that causes bad breath, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you clean your teeth all the time, you still got bad breath. You
It's
think
your
about
tongue.
that's probably your tongue. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, your gums and that. That's one of the reasons why apparently like mouthwashing is overrated in terms of cleanliness, in terms of like actually what it does to clean your teeth and stuff.
Yeah.
All of that
But
stuff.
the reason I still do it all the time is because I like to
Tastes nice.
Well, yeah, no, it's not. But I also think that, like, yeah, if you are making sure, say you clean your teeth or you clean your tongue, and then afterwards say I want a mouthwash, I always think I'm rinsing that all away and almost just like
Leaving a nice coating.
coating that in almost like nice minty freshness. Do you know what I mean? That's like the idea of it. I like, you know,
And like kind of burning away the bacteria a bit because it is
It's
like
quite burning.
It's antibacterial, isn't
yeah.
it? It's like it'll kill it.
Yeah.
when you mouthwash for quite a while, sometimes it just sort of like burn your mouth a bit.
Like
Don't you?
Listerine.
You're like, oh yeah, you're like, ah. But I quite like it. Do you know what I mean?
Fresh.
Yeah, I quite like it. Although the urinary bladder may hold as much as 600 millilitres of urine, the desire to urinate is usually experienced when it contains about 150 millilitres. Do you know that? Which definitely makes
Giving
me
you
think
some space.
sometimes I've definitely pushed it to the limit because I swear I've weed out about a pint before.
Oh, mate.
I think a pint is like only just under 600 millilitres.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
what's
reckon
it? What's a pint? Like
weeded
500?
more than a pint.
Mate, well, that's dangerous, man.
Yeah,
That's dangerous.
It's that
You might have
talking about
burst your bladder.
toothache and how that's like one of the most horrible feelings. Like
The
really
feeling need to
needing
wee.
a wee.
Yeah.
It's
When you
like
can't
one of
wee.
the worst. Like if you're in a
Yeah.
car or you're in
Oh,
a
my
journey or
God,
something,
the
and it's like,
pain.
and you're not you can't stop the car either. So it's just like,
yeah.
you know, it's gonna be.
Oh,
I always find it interesting how people's like, that's so different for some people, isn't it? Like some people have a really, I don't know if they actually have a small bladder. Do you know what that is? Because like I've got quite a strong bladder.
yeah.
So like I could.
I feel like
you
I've
know,
got quite a weak bladder.
I
But
could
I don't know
hold
if that's
it
just
for,
because
like,
I drink
days.
loads.
Oh, not days, but I could hold it for like.
I can hold
I
it
could
for
hold it
days.
for days.
I'd probably hold it for a day.
No.
Probably.
That's freaky, dude. Well, congratulations on your
Yeah.
superior.
That was. Do you know?
power.
Do you remember that old thing I was saying about with the guy who the sun gazer, or not the sun gazer?
Yeah, the plant man.
I remember. Yeah, I remember. I remember like
remember
looking
him.
at the doctor
Yeah,
thing of
that
this. I remember like reading about it, and they actually did a MRI scan of his like bladder and stuff, and you could see that it would fill up a bit with like pee, but then it would like absorb back. Like he never went to the toilet or anything because he wasn't drinking any water, and you could see that it would like fill up a little bit, but then it would like absorb back into his body, or like it would disappear. It was like so weird. He never went for a pee or anything.
Maybe I should try it.
That was a bit
I
strange.
won't go for a pee for a week, and then we'll see if I'm still alive next week.
Yeah, and you're going to be the next one. You're going to be the next
Sunday.
I am the plant man.
Yeah, we absorption man. Yeah, crazy. What a power to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know if it's just because I drink loads of fluids in that, but I need to go to the toilet like quite.
Yeah, it does make a huge difference. Obviously.
I think it's because when I first got into training, I was like, obviously, I read all the time, like you need to drink loads and loads of water and stuff. So I always drink loads and loads of water. And I think as a result, the downside of that though is I need to go to the toilet all the time.
Do you know one of the things I would absolutely hate to have?
Let's leave us on a cliffhanger. We'll play some songs a minute, and then when we come back, we're going to find out what Drew would absolutely hate to have. You're all listening to Pandora's Box on Aspen Waite Radio. Thanks for chilling with us this evening. I am your host as usual. We have the man with the golden nug.
It's
Marmaduke Johnson. We also have the man with the auburn brow.
Frau Brown.
Frau Brownison. Frau Brownison.
Frau Braun.
Frau Braun.
Frau Braun.
Yeah. We left in suspense because before those tracks, we were left with the ominous, the cliffhanger that was Drew saying, "Do you know what I really don't want, or really don't like?
Really hate to have."
What Drew would really hate to have. So it's finally found out. Ready?
So it's still on the same thing as pee. So it's to do with pee.
It's to do with wee
and,
pee.
Mate, kidney stones. Have you heard of
that?
that?
My brother's had kidney stones.
Oh, you've actually got to pee them out.
Yeah.
And apparently the pain is excruciating.
They're like crystals, but they're like really sharp,
Small,
aren't they?
Yeah, small little, even pellets, like pebbles.
It's weird that it seems like logical if you think about it, but I guess we don't think about things like this in depth day to day. Like obviously there's minerals and everything that we have. Like calcium is a mineral, but it's just not mineralized, so to speak.
So when you get a build up of it much, it will turn into a hard.
Yeah,
like,
the same way that obviously we
mineral.
the same way that obviously we've got loads of iron in our blood. Like, what was it? I can't remember the exact
nail.
Yeah, like I can't remember the exact fact, but it was saying like if you extracted the iron from your blood, I can't remember what it said that you could make from it, but it was like it was quite a surprising amount of like metal.
Oh, okay.
Could one of you find that out for me a second? Actually, say like, how much iron do you actually have in your blood, or like what could you make from the iron in your blood? Because I remember it was almost like a surprising amount.
Could you pee out the iron?
Or like the idea that if you could make a sword from all the blood of your enemies.
Yeah.
If you had enough enemies, you could literally make a sword out of the blood of your enemies.
That'd be cool.
So
males have the average of 4 grams of iron.
4 grams of iron.
So
okay, so not loads.
It's quite
not loads.
4 grams.
4 grams, yeah.
You can make a thumbtack.
A little nail.
A little nailer and a thumbtack.
A little nail, yeah. But when you think about the fact that's just like floating in your body, it's like again as we said, like the mineralization of kidney stones in your bladder, and then you just have to. There's only one way to go.
Yeah,
you now got to wee that bad boy out.
Some people have to have like surgery for it, don't they?
Yeah,
so they get like really big.
Yeah, my brother obviously managed to pass them naturally, but I remember he had to go in the hospital and everything.
Yeah,
kidney stones, nasty dude, nasty dude.
No, thank you.
The cremaster muscle is the muscle that is responsible for moving your testicles up and down. It expands and contracts according to temperature by moving them further from the body when it's warm and closer to the body when it's cold. So there you go, the cremaster muscle.
This was another fact you gave about.
On Friday at yours.
Yeah. Oh, was that not on the pod?
No, this
isn't mine. Oh, so what is it that for your
optimum
body,
sperm production?
Optimum sperm production is a degree colder than
the
your
internal body temperature. I think that's the case. It might not be. It might not be.
So that's why your testicles are outside of your body, so they can keep a bit cooler.
Because if you think about it, if it's not doesn't make any sense other than that. Like it's actually detrimental in a lot of ways. Like it leaves us more prone to. I think if they were if they were inside us the same way a woman's like eggs are,
Mm.
then we'd be protected from them being kicked or punched or just being or just accidentally
Or
hurting
chopped
them.
off.
Yeah, just being an idiot. You know, sometimes you might accidentally clap them or.
Sit on them.
Yeah, I know. For me, sometimes if you're like running fast and you haven't got like clean, like you haven't got like skin tight underwear on,
Mm.
or like shorts with a mesh. Sometimes I might just work out and then I'm not stupid and I haven't put on like appropriate underwear, and even just the act of them sort of like flapping against my thigh while I'm working out, even that's not nice. I wouldn't. It's not enough that I would describe it as turning into pain, but it's enough that it's uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It's like it's just a bit like like a little dull ache might just arise.
Sometimes I watch Rupert running, and I'm like, which is my dog, Spaniel, and I think, how the hell is he doing that? Like, how the hell is that not super painful? You just see him pelting it, and literally it's like,
just full on slapping.
I'm just
slapping.
like, oh man.
I love the fact that I think we've talked about that like 3 separate times on the pod.
Yeah, he's chestnuts.
Yeah, but no,
that doesn't say enough about what we talk about.
Yeah,
I don't know what does.
Balls. But yeah, getting back to the original point. Yeah, so I don't know if it's exactly a degree. I think it's a degree. So your body temperature, internal body temperature, I think is somewhere around 37 degrees, something like that. I don't. As I said, that's not exact. So don't be like, oh, such an idiot. So that's just off the top of my head. I'm not an expert. But I think it's something around that. So your testicles, basically, your balls are like sperm-making factories, essentially.
Yeah, 37 degrees centigrade.
Oh, is it?
Centigrade. Yeah.
So so your balls need to be for optimum sperm production. They need to be a bit colder than the inside of your body. So that's why they're external, and that's why when it's hot, a man's ball bag, that's the technical term, will get looser so that your testicles can get further away from your body, because obviously on hot days you're going to be hotter, so the further away they are from your body, the better it is. On a cold day, your ball bag will shrivel and get
together.
very tight, because your balls obviously also don't want to get too cold. That will also destroy and hamper sperm production, so it will bring them closer to your body, thus ensuring that your testicles remain in optimum sperm making facility. Optimum sperm making goodness. Something like that. Anyway,
it's crazy. It's actually 3 degrees, so it's 34 degrees is optimum. So 3 degrees.
Also, that's actually
cooler.
That's quite mad to think that because obviously it's still a part of your body, that just from being in like a little fleshy sack, literally just a couple of inches away from the rest of you, it can be as much as 3 degrees cooler.
It's crazy to think that with just that small bit of movement that it can do, going like closer or further away, that's enough to control like those 3 degrees and keep it at that optimum.
Yeah, like it's so clever, really, if you think about it, isn't it? Like we are.
If you were going to sauna too much,
so clever. I was just about to say, I'm surprised my body can produce sperm at all, because I'm always so
it's
hot.
Really hot. Yeah.
I'm really hot now.
Maybe that's just one way they regulate the temperature. Maybe, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
my balls are feeling pretty hot, man.
Because
I don't reckon I'm producing sperm right now.
Because your body does regulate, your temperature, doesn't it? Like you say, like babies can't, so you need to do it with like how many blankets you put on a baby and stuff. Yeah. But your body obviously has some other, rather than just like your environment, it will actually regulate your temperature still.
Yeah, like so maybe it can keep it lower, but it needs to be out because
bit of a hand as well.
As another thing, it needs to be out because it can't be close to other stuff that needs to be hotter. Does that make sense? Because your body temperature needs to be roughly.
It needs to literally be 37 all the time.
Yeah. Because otherwise, you would just. Also, I know that's like, it's really weird, isn't it? Because in your head, the difference when you say imagine it's a boiling hot summer's day, right? And imagine you've just done like a grueling workout and you're drenched with sweat, you're red in the face, and you literally are like boiling, and you're like gagging for like an ice cold pint of something, or like some ice cream, right? And then compare that to the feeling, right, when it's like a freezing cold sub-zero winter's day. Literally imagine it's like the ground is laced with snow, like everything, like your car door's frozen shut. Right, and imagine you've got like ridiculous amount of layers on, like you've got like skiing gloves on, because otherwise your hands would just go purple in seconds. Did you know though that your body, regardless of how hot you are on that summer's day or how cold you are on that winter's day, your body will only be, well, unless obviously you start suffering from hypothermia or heat exhaustion, sunstroke, your body's actually will only ever at the most be 1 degree difference in temperature.
That is crazy.
So it's crazy how how important it is to stay at that temperature.
If your body goes more than a degree either way, you start having serious health issues. So it's really man. It's like that 1 degree is like crucial.
When you think of how many degrees different it is from the outside, so it could be be sub-zero, so that's 37 degrees. Like
you could be sat still,
or like
sub-zero,
Hoffman doing going in Wim getting in the freezing ice water for like 30 minutes,
and the fact that he can control it and keep that body temperature that what it needs to be.
Yeah.
Or as I said, like imagine, as I said, I hate the one thing I hate is like those summer's days when I like have like a brutal workout. I don't work out in a place that has any aircon or anything like that, so it's like. In a way, I think it's almost like extra training in a way, but at the same time, it's brutal. You know, it's brutal. It takes me about 4 hours afterwards just to get down to like what I would feel like normal temperature again. I mean, even if I have like a really cold shower, like I'll get out of the shower and at first I'm like, I'm okay now, and then I'll just start sweating.
You need to build an ice thing in the garden, like that you can just jump and dip into.
Yeah, that'd be or so even cool. Just
plunge pool.
Plunge pool, that's it.
Or even like just those really old school metal baths that they used to use back before we had and they would just fill them up. Like, they would just fill them up with buckets. Just like get that or something, and I can just fill it with like the tap in my garden.
And some ice.
Yeah. Or even if it was just that on a winter's day and it was just outside, that would probably be enough as it is. Imagine how ice cold the tap would be.
Yeah, I'd love to have a dipping thing like that one day.
I think you got to be a little bit careful with stuff like that, don't you? Though, when it's going from, I think your body can kind of control it when it's like a gradual thing easier. So, for instance, going from like winter to summer. I know people do it, but I don't know.
It's called hot cold therapy, and a lot of athletes, to promote recovery because it tricks the body, they will actively go from either a sauna or a hot tub into an ice bath, into either an ice bath or like a cryo chamber, and they literally will go do rounds. So they'll spend 5 minutes in the sauna, 2 minutes in the ice cold tub, and then they literally do that for like 5 rounds.
Yeah, it is crazy that your body can just deal with that, though.
It is really dangerous as well. I remember my mum telling me about it with people on hot summer's days. You can get like bungee swings and stuff like that. Like she was telling me about someone who died because they did like a cliff jump off like into a
bridge
river,
or something.
And it was the difference in temperature, it was such a shock to the system that they like hyperventilated and died just in
a way, it's not
the
surprising,
river.
Is it?
Yeah,
I guess.
Especially
I guess
if you're not
even
used
though
to it all.
I guess even though you're shocking the body, like. Your brain still knows, yes. Oh, I'm going to go into this ice bath
so
before.
You're more prepared.
Exactly.
But with that, it's just like, wait, I'll just jump over here, it's real hot. And then it's like, And what about the other one as well with the drinking? Do you see that with the guy, you're not actually supposed to drink ice cold water on a really hot day. And apparently he drank just necked a load of just ice cold water. And I can't remember what actually happened, but he nearly died because it's so bad for your body. Like it was like a shock. It was such a shock to the body.
Oh, really?
It's the same after like a shower or going in the hot tub. You shouldn't drink like a ice cold drink.
Yeah, it should be like room temperature water. Like apparently you should drink water at room temperature.
Yeah, I know that in general. Like the best way, the easiest way for your body to absorb a liquid is just at room temperature because. Like your body will either have to your body will literally have to expend energy to get it back to essentially like room temperature. So if it's too hot, your body will have to cool it down. If it's too cold, your body will have to heat it up. So in that way, it's quite inefficient. I know also just because it's quite interesting. I know like the science behind why say athletes do hot cold therapy. I know the science behind what happens, like why it's beneficial, is because we were talking about how you get like muscular damage, obviously like micro tears and stuff when you work out lots. Well, obviously it's your blood flow that carries all like oxygenated, nutrient-rich blood like all around your body to like your muscles and everything that helps repair them. So when you get into like an extremely cold environment to basically keep you alive, your body pulls all the blood into your internal organs, right? Yeah. And then when you get into a really hot environment, after that, it will instantly release them and almost cause like a flushing effect. So if you imagine that your blood flow, just for simplicity's sake, is going like this, right? Well, then when you get into like a really, really cold environment, it will like stop and go to like the middle. And then as soon as you get really hot again, it will go and go super fast. So the idea being that, especially if you have like a really good diet and everything like that, then you've got all these nutrients and everything accessible in your body, and obviously all the oxygen from the air we breathe. But what you're doing is you're almost like, rather than waiting for it really slowly to repair, you're almost causing this like massive, like almost like this tsunami of nutrients that can then just like go into your muscles. It's quite interesting, isn't it? But you can see why it works. There's a condition called saxophone penis. It's also known as the ram's horn. And this is a result of a blocked lymph node, or a bacterial infection that leaves the penis swollen and twisted, resulting in looking like a ram's horn, or in some cases a saxophone. That's horrible, isn't it? There's some horrible stuff out there, isn't it?
On fire.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Oh no, thank you.
When the liver fails to produce bile, your poo will not be brown.
Oh.
And it'll instead come out white.
What? White poo?
So if you ever have a white poo,
you're in trouble.
You know that your liver is failing to produce bile.
I can't even imagine a white poo.
Imagine how weird it would look. Like almost like, you just go for a poo and then you look down, it's just white poo.
That'd be beyond weird.
Strange, isn't it? Very, very strange. Right, Bullwinkle, did you have something you want to talk to today?
Should we have a choice? I'll let you guys choose. What do you want to... I've got some hypothetical questions. I could pick one of them out. Fun little hypothetical. Or I have some mysteries from the Britain land. From Britain. So,
mate, both. Let's do it.
Both. Right. So, tell you what, we'll start with a hypothetical question, shall we? Mm-hmm. So, let me see. Which one should we do?
Bullwinkle is getting out the factoids. I'll tell you what, while he's doing that, I'll get you just a couple more little facts.
Cool.
Did you know that women get drunk faster than men because the female body produces smaller quantities of an enzyme called alcohol dehydrogenase? This enzyme is released in the liver and breaks down alcohol. So that's why women can't handle their booze quite as well as men in general.
Do you believe that if all land was connected, the world would be a better place?
Did you know that the world did used to be connected?
Yeah.
It is under the water.
Yeah. There used to be one massive land continent called Pangea.
Yeah.
That's what it was called. Pangea, yeah.
Before they all drifted apart.
Yeah, obviously, as history's gone on, obviously, the more and more of the ocean has been that's like swallowed the world. So we actually used to have like much more land mass than we did ocean, totally. And now obviously the world is more sea than it is land. Which is almost like weird in itself to think of for us terrestrial creatures.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's like it's just got higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, and it's just like only the bits that are poking out the top are still there.
Yeah, I mean, as we talked about, even like 10,000 years ago, there was a whole like extra land that linked the UK to Europe. And
I love looking at those maps where you can see that, and it's like so cool. Like you said, you could walk from England. I remember when we were talking about it before, and you could literally walk from England to Rome, didn't you? You were saying?
Oh yeah, you could walk from England to Rome, or like England to Denmark.
Yeah,
England to Spain. Yeah.
Yeah, but in answer to your question, I would say I think yes. I think there would still because it's such a large mass, there would be different regions. And you think of like things that could because the water obviously separates like lands and everything. Like there would still be things that would separate. You know, like kind of naturally, like mountains and forests and stuff like that. So they're anywhere where there's like natural separation, there would be natural separation in people as well. Yeah. But like, there'd be less than there is now. Yeah. I would have thought.
I guess there would be a lot less things to. I feel like there'd be less wars. If it was
also
all in
you
one
think about
landmass.
the climate and that.
Tell
as
that
well.
to the Ukraine.
True.
I'm going to go the opposite and say that I don't think it would be any better.
You reckon?
No.
Do you think it would be any worse?
In some ways, oceans produce most people think that trees produce most of the oxygen in the world, but it's actually the ocean that produces most of the oxygen in the world. So that's not very good. Humans need oxygen to
I suppose
breathe.
It would still have the same amount of ocean, though. It would just be that the ocean would just be around where the land is.
Oh, okay. So the same quantity.
Yeah.
The same quantity of water, but all land would be linked somehow.
Too many variables.
Yeah.
Too many variables.
being like Jack Reacher and saying, because details matter, although that's not exactly like Pangaea, because obviously Pangaea, there was much more land.
True.
So it's not, that wouldn't exactly be the same. There was way less ocean when Pangaea was the supercontinent. But yeah, so I'm taking into account, okay, so that changes obviously my view a little bit. So yes, that takes away the oxygen problem. I still though think, you look at something like Ukraine, I actually think that being an island is
beneficial.
It's more beneficial in terms of not being invaded. I don't think it necessarily too much enhances your likelihood of having peaceful negotiations. Just having a land linked with somebody, I think there's just as much evidence to show that that's more as detrimental as it is positive. I mean, if you think about our biggest allies, say the UK traditionally, our biggest allies, or the only country we've never been to war with in Europe is Portugal. Well, we're not linked with Portugal. You'd have to get to Portugal by sea. It's just we for whatever reason have always negotiated with them very well, and we've never gone to them. Do you know what I mean? On the other hand, France is only just over the Channel. Yeah. And France, Britain has been to war with France more times over than any other country on the planet.
Sacre bleu.
Do you know what I mean?
And I guess breaking it down even more, like the stories you've told in recent weeks about the Eskimos and the Maori tribe, and when you were saying about how they were always battling with different tribes that were just across the river from them.
Look at let's think about the countries that Russia have been to war with in the last 100 years. Finland, they share a border with them. Ukraine now, they share a border with them.
There's almost more to fight over.
Yeah, there's
which land is ours?
Sweden, out of all the European countries, Sweden are the ones that are most almost afraid of getting to war with Russia at the moment, that aren't at war with Russia, and yet again they share a border with Russia. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that showing. I think that it would be more. I reckon it'd be just as much war.
I suppose with an island as well, you can almost, there isn't that question of boundaries, because the island is its own island. Yeah, most of the time, not all the time. But.
I think one of the reasons as well is because I think nowadays, or I think especially almost I think nowadays, but also in almost a childlike way of looking at things. We think that almost surely the bigger the country is, the more likely they are to be a dominant military force. But I think the reason why, say, the British Empire flourished like it did is one of the reasons why it was because we were an island, and because simply you're an island that has by far the best navy in the world, which makes you essentially unconquerable. Before the invention of aeroplanes.
That was how you got about.
Yeah, there weren't any long range missiles or aeroplanes or anything like that. It's we had the best navy in the world, so good luck invading, because our ships will just intercept you and just blow you out of the water. Because Spain tried to invade England, France tried to invade. They just nobody could succeed, and those were two of the biggest other powers in the world at the time. So Spain and France couldn't do it. No one else was going to do it.
How did the Vikings do it? They did it with ships.
Yeah, exactly, and that was obviously you could almost argue that. It was maybe some form of the heritage of the Vikings that eventually,
the naval force that England was, or not England, but
it was almost like a boiling pot of all these great, influence from Romans and then Vikings, and then almost taking the best of all these different civilizations, military tactics, different, intelligence and stuff like that, and that's what made the British Empire such a formidable foe. And it's say even the Revolutionary War between in America. In I believe 1774, was it 1774 or 1772 when the American Revolution? I'm not American, so obviously it's not quite as important to me as some Americans, but I know it was around then when the Americans won sovereignty over their own lands and won independence. They won independence, but they would have never have had a chance. If they said, right, okay, let's put the nail in the coffin and let's try and sail to England now and destroy them, good luck. They wouldn't have stood a chance. For a start, at the time, the Americans barely had any ships. They had something 3 good ships.
Really?
None of the successful stuff that the Americans managed to do during the Revolutionary War was
it was all fought on land, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was all land stuff. They wouldn't have stood a chance against the British Navy, and they knew that. They knew that we had the biggest and best navy on the planet. So they wouldn't have had a chance in that regard. Do you know what I mean? They never would have had a chance to actually come to Britain and overthrow the British Empire. You've got to bear in mind that even after the Revolutionary War, the British Empire still kept growing for hundreds of years. And, it was I mean, during the reign of Queen Victoria, the empire was still like growing mad, and Queen Victoria's reign was like 100 years after the Revolutionary War. You know, like by the time that Queen Victoria died, she was like the Empress of India and all sorts. You know, she was the Empress of India as well as the Queen of Britain and all the Commonwealth countries. So it's like, I don't know. Getting back to my original point. I think that regardless of whether you're being militarily aggressive or just trying to be peaceful and just defensive, I think that it's beneficial to be an island. It's too easy if there's just land for people to just come and try and take your stuff. Yeah, you're not wrong. If you've got imagine if you've...
like a massive moat.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was literally about to say that. It's like you're basically, think of the Britain as like one massive castle with a big moat around it. And then you're going to have to somehow get across that
You've provided a very, very good argument.
And then
I think I've switched.
And then all of Britain as well, as especially the Romans were the ones that started doing it, but they started putting castles all around the coast in the places that were most likely to be invaded. So if as soon as you do start seeing ships, you can just start using projectiles, and hopefully most of the ships will be destroyed before they even reach the land. The ones that do reach the land, you then just pick off whatever's left. You know, and you get defensive positions and stuff. They're going to have to come and run up to the castles. Well, if half your men are already dead and you're trying to like take a castle and you're like tired because you've been like rowing across the sea with your oars and that, and then there's just people in the castle just like raining down arrows and stuff on you, you're screwed, man. Your chance of success is so small. So yeah, I'm going with no.
I like it. Are you changing, Drew?
Yeah, I think it's kind of human nature as well to be like tribal and like brutal in that way. Unfortunately, so
and to fight for land, I guess.
Yeah, and fight for your for it's like your territory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like wherever your territory is, you're gonna fight it tooth and nail to not give that up to someone else.
And want to expand it.
Yeah,
I think that's almost like that saying, isn't it, as well? Like, you know, that saying like all is fair in love and war. It's like that comes into it. It's like, and the reason I think that saying is because it's like, because it is so natural. It's like you can be like a really
nature as well. It's like territorial. Like you know, you got your nest, and like even in the same species, which is like a similar thing. Like whatever like penguins and that. When have you seen that when they're all building their little nest with the stones, and then they'll try and nick the stones off each other to build like the biggest nest to put the eggs on, and stuff, and it's pretty brutal. And then they'll peck each other to death and stuff if like they were on the other, and they want to get the best ground in it, and you know, and it's only the strongest that will get the best ground and the best stones, and you know, it's like it's just embedded into nature as well.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Do we have enough time for a quick little 3-minute mystery?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we talk about Bella in the Wych Elm.
That sounds cool, yeah.
I'm always up for talking about weird stuff, dude.
Have we got some photos of this up as well, man?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'll get into the mystery. So we'll cycle through some. So, when 4 schoolboys were poaching in Hagley Woods near Stalbridge in Worcestershire in 1943, they found a human skeleton hidden in the hollow trunk of a wych elm. They reported the macabre discovery to the authorities, but whilst police were able to work out that the female victim had been dead for around 18 months, they had no clue as to what was her identity. Because of the chaos of the Second World War, there were so many missing people that officials couldn't narrow it down, but the mystery did not end there. Over the following decades, see if you can find a photo of this as well as I speak about it. Over the following decades, graffiti started appearing in the area asking, who put Bella in the Wych Elm? Sparking speculation that the killing might have been part of a black magic ceremony. Last year, 2 possible victims...
Satanism, mate.
Bella.
Yeah.
But why Bella? Why did they say Bella?
I guess that's just the name they've equated to the girl that was found.
If you think about it, like, you know what I mean? If we just came across something, we'd probably just give it a name.
Rog.
And then that name would stay. Rog and the Wych Elm.
Roger and the Wych Elm.
So, Big Rog and the Wych Elm, isn't it?
Last year, 2 possible victims, one a Dutch visitor and the other a Birmingham prostitute, were suggested during a BBC programme on the mystery.
Wasn't one of them, was it the Dutch one that was supposedly maybe like a Nazi spy or something?
I haven't heard of that, but that's all I've got on the mystery. I've only got like a little bit of information. But
I've heard of that mystery before, and I'm pretty sure they think, I can't remember exactly why or like how it linked back to it, because this is obviously very vague. I swear like one of the possibilities was that she was somehow almost like a German spy or something.
What, the woman who was...
The Wych Elm.
Yeah,
the woman that the body was actually found. Bella in the Wych Elm. Let me just look that up a second.
Sketchy.
Bella, that's quite a cool little local mystery, though.
Yeah. Bella in the Wych Elm Nazi. In 1968, the writer Donald McCormick revisited both murders in his book Murder by Witchcraft. He asserted that Bella had been a Nazi spy and occultist named Clara Bella, a woman well known to several senior Nazis, recruited by the Abwehr and given the code name Clara.
Whoa.
Let me find out some more information for you. Oh no, you're gonna not give me stuff. Oh, you know when you like click on something and it wants you to sign
it doesn't go where you want it.
How damn you! Damn you, woman!
That's so crazy that they've that graffiti's all started just appearing all over near where it was though.
Yeah.
Like whoever's taken that up probably just wanted to start a mystery or something, but definitely makes it a lot creepier.
Oh, I found out some more information about it. The story starts at dusk, as dusk fell on Hagley Woods in Worcestershire on the 18th of April 1943. Pathologist Professor James Webster concluded that the remains belonged to a woman aged between 35 and 40, who had been placed while still warm into the tree where she had remained hidden for at least 18 months. The cause of death was attributed to asphyxiation on account of a portion of taffeta found deep inside her mouth. I'm not really sure what that is, to be honest with you. Taffeta, like Taffeta. Something that obviously happens when you asphyxiate, I guess.
Taffy.
Police contacted every dentist in the country, hoping to identify the victim by her distinctive teeth. They also painstakingly eliminated all missing persons from the area. After 6 months, with police no closer to identifying the victim or her killer, the appearance of graffiti, as you said, the regent who put Bella down in the Wych Elm, suggested that someone knew more than they were letting on.
And taffeta as well, it seems to be like a fabric made from silk, so maybe it's like what they're saying, like asphyxiation,
or like it was like
there's
shoved down her
fabrics
face or
of
something. Shoved down her face. Let's try and find some more stuff about that. By early 1950s, talk of witchcraft had taken hold of the popular imagination. Then in 1953, a woman calling herself Anna contacted the Wolverhampton Express and Star and claimed to have known Bella's killers. She met police in secret, but details of her story were drip-fed to the public by a local columnist writing as Questa. That's an old, I think that's an old Roman rank.
I was going to say, quest is quite creepy. Like you're giving people this quest.
Can you just type in Quaestor? Quaestor. I'm pretty sure that was like an old Roman rank in the military.
Any of a number of officials who had charge of public revenue and expenditure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's an old Latin thing. Yeah, like that was.
Oh yeah, public official in ancient Rome.
There you go. Maybe not military,
various
but
types of questors with the title used to describe greatly different offices at different times.
Yeah, I thought it was
in Roman Republic. Questors were elected officials who supervised the state treasury and conducted audits.
There you go. I thought the reason I thought it'd be like a nice little fact for people just to know that on top of everything else. Anna sent the case in a new direction. Espionage. She claimed Bella had been murdered by a German spy ring involving a British officer, a Dutchman, and a music hall artist. It was highly plausible. The region's many munitions factories had made it a prime target for Nazi intelligence gathering designed to choreograph the Birmingham Blitz. The public embraced the link between the Hagley Woods murder and espionage with relish. After all, this was the Cold War, and James Bond had already made his debut in Ian Fleming's Casino Royale. Police soon dismissed talk of the occult and concluded that the finger bones had been scattered by animals, not by a satanic coven. Despite Anna's leads, the investigation began to gather dust. And this is when it says in 1968 the writer Donald McCormick revisited both murders in his book Murder by Witchcraft. He asserted that Bella had been a Nazi spy named Clara Bella, a woman well known to several senior Nazi officers, recruited by the Abwehr and given the codename Clara. He claimed to have gained access to the Abwehr records, which indicated that she had parachuted into the West Midlands in 1941, but subsequently failed to make radio contact and then disappeared. Furthermore, at least one piece of the contemporary graffiti, he claimed, referred not to Bella, but to Clara Bella. It was an entertaining, if boldly uncorroborated theory, and did nothing to help bring the case to a resolution. 30 years later, the mystery endured despite continuing media interest. including from the Independent newspaper, which revisited the story in 1999. But the official closure of West Mercia's police investigation and publication of the case files has allowed it to be re-examined, and a startling conclusion presents itself. The police final review acknowledges that while there would be some merit in DNA investigation, they have been unable to ascertain where Bella was laid to rest. But they overlooked the fact that after the post-mortem, Bella's remains were not buried by the local constabulary, but were in fact passed to one of Professor Webster's colleagues at the University of Birmingham for more tests.
Then they just got lost. Then it got lost.
The police were looking for Bella in the wrong cemetery. McCormick's theory may lack hard evidence, but in the 1960s there were only limited lines of inquiry available. He certainly couldn't have had access to wartime MI5 files, which detail the interrogation of a Czech-born Gestapo agent named Josef Jakobs, arrested by the Home Guard after parachuting into Cambridgeshire in January of 1941.
It's crazy that like these people would just parachute into like the middle of Britain and that, like, you know, like spies and
in the middle of the night, and then
Yeah.
just like, but they're just spies, yeah.
Yeah.
Just suddenly like got like a
Yeah.
background story all like line up, can
Yeah.
speak English really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is mental.
His declassified file at the National Archives contains a photograph carried by Jakobs at the time of his arrest, which throws McCormick's claims into fascinating relief. The woman in the photograph was named by Jakobs as cabaret singer and German actress Clara Barul. Jakobs told his interrogators that Clara was his lover, and that they had first met in Hamburg, where she had been singing at the Café Dreher with the Et Orchestra. She was well connected with several senior Nazis and had been recruited as a secret agent. She was due to parachute into the Midlands after Jakobs had established radio contact, but he claimed that since he had been captured before he could send word, this was now unlikely to happen. MI5 learnt that Buell had been born in Stuttgart in 1906, making her 35. She was indeed a cabaret artist. In fact, she spent 2 years working the music halls of the West Midlands before the war, and was said to speak English with a Birmingham accent. She was blatantly a Nazi spy. It isn't difficult to see how the name Clara Brühl might have been more easily remembered as Clarabella.
This
by
goes
English
so
musical
deep, man.
yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's a good
It's
story.
like a little Mystery Mondays on a
Mystery
Pandora's
Mondays.
box.
Yeah. Mystery Wednesdays. And another Mystery Wednesdays. And Anna would later allege a connection between Bella, espionage, and the musical in her letter to Quaestor in 1953. Wow. Interesting stuff. So, the body, though, has never been found again. The body's not, so it's
literally
basically
just lost.
Unless the mortal remains of the woman found in Hagley Woods can be located, the fate of Jakob's lover, Clara Bjerl, may prove to be as enduring a mystery as the question of who even put Bella in the Wych Elm.
Ooh.
So that's going to be like just a full-on mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say as well, people should watch the movie Allied.
Is that the one that you told me was really good? With,
with the spies. And it's
did you
just
say it was,
like
did you say it was Brad Pitt and
Brad Pitt and
that really
Marion Cotillard or something.
I always think she's got a really beautiful face.
Yeah.
She's the one that plays Ra's al Ghul's daughter in The Dark Knight Returns.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's such a cool movie though, because it's all like that with like the spies and stuff, you know, and like what it would have been like in wartime, like with things like that. It's a really cool. It's a really cool movie. I definitely.
Yeah, I remember you told me about that, and I thought I didn't need to see that. What did you say it's called again?
It's called Allied.
Allied.
Isn't
it something? Yeah. So like, isn't it like almost like a bit like a thriller mystery? It's almost like
you don't
is
know.
is his
You
wife?
don't know.
That sounds good.
Is
You
his
don't
wife
know.
like a spy or not, sort of thing?
Oh, that
And
sounds
it goes
good.
back and forth, sort of thing. I love that sort of thing where it's like, you know, keeping you on your toes. Like 1 minute you think, the next minute you think
But
different.
just how as well, like these people were trained so well, like you say, like someone parachuting in would be like able to speak English and so good at like just, you know,
it's like when we were talking about Christopher Lee.
Yeah,
he could just go to Germany or Italy, convince the people there that he was either German or Italian, and then seduce a wife of like some high-ranking officer, sleep with them, and then subtly get information out of them. And then
I
just,
can
like,
hardly
leave.
make a sandwich.
Yeah, let alone
seduce
convince
a beautiful woman.
that
I'm
one night.
Italian.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, fair play. What a don, eh? Like a real life James Bond. You know, crazy, isn't it? So, just before we go, I just want to say, without giving anyone any spoilers, I just finished watching the latest season of Stranger Things, and it is ridiculously good. Really nice twist in the last episode as well.
Nice.
Really good. You need to watch it.
I want to catch up. I can't remember if I've seen the series before or not.
I thought it sort of was like, to be honest, I thought it was like slowly going downhill from season 1 was like amazing, and then it was almost like slowly going down. Yeah. But this season I actually think is like the best one ever.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. I haven't seen any of it, but I'm good.
Mate, you need to
it's the next thing I'm gonna watch is Stranger Things.
Yeah, you need to, dude. Honestly, it's so good. Anyway, everyone, we've come to the end of another session here in Pandora's Box this week.
I enjoyed this one.
Yeah, it was really good.
It's a bit of a different format than we've done.
A bit more like Quickfire.
Yeah.
Quickfire all episode. Quickfire episode of Pandora. It's like sometimes we only have like 1 or 2 subjects and it's like drag right out. We've covered like a million today, but it's like, it's been really cool.
Plethora, as you'd say.
Yeah, you could say that we covered a plethora of subjects today, couldn't you? So like that. Did you see that picture that Josh put up of like it was like a picture of the forest a while back, and it just said plethora like coming out of my mouth. That was so...
Mate, if we ever got any like Pandora's Box merch, that would be so funny, just having like plethora like, on a t-shirt or something.
Pandora's Box and then just plethora on the back. Yeah. Right, everyone, have a great week. Thanks for tuning in with us this evening. We love every single one of y'all's listening. I've been Obadiah. You've been...
Marmaduke Johnson.
You've been...
Frau Brun.
And you've been beautiful, everybody. See you next week. Have a good one.